Hello, and welcome to today's Sunshine Prepper News. I'm Willow, the Sunshine Prepper, here to spread a bit of positivity on the unavoidable doom and gloom. Before I spike your cortisol, let's take a nice, long, deep breath inside to encourage and support our parasympathetic nervous systems. Here we go. Okay, maybe someday I'll encourage you to breathe a little longer, but in the interest of time, let's get to business. This week, the general theme is updates on the encroaching war on real traditional foods. You would think the right to produce, access, and purchase whatever foods you deem to be safe and healthy for your own body to be a basic right. We'll skip the conversation about drugs. I'm just talking about produce, meat, dairy, eggs, and so on. Sources of nutrition, vitality, and sustenance. The traditional foods humans eat. But no! Oregon is recently stealing the spotlight for outrageous anti-food sovereignty laws. They're currently using a two-prong approach to shut down small farmers. The first is by redefining a CAFO, or commercial animal feeding operation, to include any farm or facility that has a gravel or concrete floor, no matter the size of the operation. Someone with 2 milking cows is so dangerous to the groundwater that Oregon demands about $100,000 of special infrastructure to mitigate the impact of groundwater. There's an active lawsuit out on this one. And then the second method of attack Oregon is using is that the groundwater there is a publicly owned resource. So you have to have permits approval for many of the uses of water, even if you have a well. There's an exemption that allows a commercial operation to use 5,000 gallons of water a day for a $300 fee, but now they're saying the exemption does not include irrigation of land. So, based on Oregon reinterpreting that law, they've justified using satellite imagery and snitch hotlines to locate and shut down small farms and dairies, all in the name of protecting the public. At what point is the government overreaching their objective in trying to protect the public and just using their rules and regulations to control the public? Oregon is basically taking the right of their people to choose what they want to eat by shutting down the small farms that are growing healthy food. We've already suffered a staggering loss of farms in the U.S., mostly small farms, and mostly in the last 5 years. We had around 2,100,000 in 2000, but last year we measured up around 1,859,000 or so. Less farms is less options, and eventually less ways to avoid Bill Gates doing his damnedest to stuff chemicals into our food supply. The next point of interest is a new coating our ostensibly philanthropic overlord has whipped up named A-Peel. A-P-E-E-L. I could roast Gates all day, but to get straight to the point, how in the clown world did the FDA approve this coating also for organic produce when the ingredients are, literally is what they got on there, 7% citric acid, about 93% other active ingredients, and an almost irrelevant percentage of inactive ingredients. Yes, you heard that right. They listed 93% other active ingredients with no extra details, nothing. God only knows what toxic cocktail allows this coating to seal oxygen out and make your produce last 30 days longer. So enjoy your month-old avocado with lower enzymes and nutrients, because convenience and profit, all for the low, low price of our collective vitality and health. Well, moving on from Gates and A-Peel, we have confirmation that the bird flu that had been killing off seals and other non-bird mammals has made the jump into our cattle population, and then also successfully made the jump into a human. Dun, dun, dun. It's also causing our nation's largest producer of eggs to start culling birds, so it's spreading through the poultry supply and also the cattle and also to people working in these industries. There's no need to panic of the risk to the public catching the bird flu. That's pretty abysmally low, but that doesn't mean there's no risk to our food sovereignty and from the possibility of government overreach. There's a whole concerted effort to vaccinate the bejesus out of our food supply. I guess Big Pharma realized it's getting harder to vaccinate people and it's much easier to vaccinate the animals we eat. They can still indirectly try to force us to consume their products. Well, if you've got a tinfoil hat nearby, be on the lookout for a campaign for forcing vaccines onto the animals. Here in my beloved state of Tennessee, there's legislature in place that would allow the state powers to force the vaccination of any and all livestock in the state if there's an emergency of some sort. We have a bill being proposed to create an exemption to protect farmers from mandatory livestock vaccines, HB 2801. As of now, they delayed the vote on it, but it'll be back around next year, and hopefully by then, enough of us constituents can lean on our representatives to get this through. We don't want to wind up like Oregon, or Pennsylvania for that matter, where There's a legal battle against Amos Miller, the Amish farmer, and that's likely going to take years to eventually get a decision on. At what point are we free to choose what foods we deem to be safe to consume and who we trust to provide us with these foods? How free are we really? And how much of our freedom is the illusion of freedom? Well, no need to spiral into a quick existential crisis. Let's take a nice, long, deep breath inside to release and ease the sting of the doom and gloom encroaching on our food. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. This week's mission, if you choose to accept it, is practice mindful eating. Especially if you eat on autopilot, I want to encourage you to chew more and chew slower. Really let yourself experience and enjoy your food, and allow yourself to feel gratitude for the many hands and all the care it took to get your food from farm to fork. I'll see you next week. Sunshine Prepper out.